All right, let's just get right into it. We've all been there, right? You look at your family's health history, you see the heart disease, the diabetes, maybe some autoimmune stuff, and you can't help but wonder, is that my future too? It's a really heavy thought, but what if I told you that whole story is just plain wrong? Yeah, you heard that right. The script is not set in stone. This quote from Dr. Mark Hyman is a total game changer. It means that all the things we're exposed to, what he calls our exposome, are way, way more powerful than the DNA we get from our parents. Seriously, your daily choices matter so much more than you think. And this is the absolute core idea we're talking about today. Think of your genes like a loaded gun. They might create a tendency, a possibility for something to happen, but they just sit there doing nothing until something comes along and actually pulls the trigger. And you know what that trigger is? It's your lifestyle. Your choices are what decide whether that gun ever fires. So how is that even possible? How can our choices have such a massive impact on our literal genetic code? Well, it turns out our DNA isn't just some fixed hardware. It actually runs on software that we can update ourselves. The science behind all this is called epigenetics, and it's basically the study of how your environment and your behaviors can stick these little chemical tags onto your DNA, telling your genes to either turn on or turn off. And here's the most important part. This happens without ever changing your actual DNA sequence. This whole hardware versus software analogy makes it all just click. Think about it. Your genetic blueprint, your DNA, that's the hardware you were born with. It's fixed. But your epigenetic expression, that's the software. It's how your body reads the hardware. And just like the apps on your phone, it gets constant updates from your diet, your sleep, your stress, all of it. So how does your body actually install these software updates? Well, it uses a few key chemical processes. You might see these fancy words like methylation, acetylation, and sulfylation. Don't worry about the terms. Just think of them as different ways the body attaches tiny little chemical sticky notes to your genes. Some notes say, hey, read this gene a lot, and others say, you know what, ignore this one for now. It's how your body fine-tunes everything. To bring this down to earth, let's talk about a gene you might have heard of, MTHR. It's super important for that methylation process we just talked about. Now, some people have versions of this gene that can create issues, but here's the cool part. By eating the right foods and living a certain way, you can support methylation and directly influence how that gene works, totally sidestepping that genetic tendency. Once you understand this, it completely changes the game for medicine. I mean, if we can actually influence our genes, then just treating symptoms with a pill, it's just not enough. We need a whole new approach that looks way deeper at the root causes. And this is where functional medicine comes in. It is a complete 180 in perspective. Instead of a doctor asking what disease you have and then matching it to a drug, a functional medicine practitioner asks, why are you sick in the first place? They look at this whole complex web of your genetics, your lifestyle, and your environment. To find that why, they basically become medical detectives. They map out your entire story. They look at what you inherited, like a family history of autoimmunity. Then they layer on things you've acquired, like years of chronic stress or a bad diet. They look for specific triggers, those moments where someone says, I've never been the same since. And they identify the things that keep the fire going, like bad sleep or junk food. It's fascinating work. So once we figure out those root causes, what's in our toolkit? What are the biggest, most powerful levers we can pull to start updating our own genetic software? So where do you even start? Well, a huge piece of the puzzle is right here. A wild, staggering 70% of our entire immune system is located in our gut. Just let that sink in. That means if you want to influence inflammation, autoimmunity, your overall health, the gut is command central. It's the place to begin. And the tools we use are actually pretty straightforward, but they are incredibly powerful. It really boils down to 5 core pillars: how well you sleep, how you move your body, the food you eat, how you manage stress, and even the quality of your relationships. These aren't just healthy habits. They're the master controls for your biology. Let's just zoom in on nutrition for a sec, because this is so important. Food is not just calories, it is information. Every single bite you take sends a direct message to your DNA. Those colorful fruits and veggies, they have compounds that can literally turn on genes that protect you and turn off genes that create inflammation. You are programming your body with every meal you eat.
So what this all means is you have this amazing set of DNA programmers at your disposal right now. You can eat a rainbow of different plants to get B vitamins that support methylation. You can do high-intensity exercise to build new little power plants in your cells called mitochondria. You can make sleep a priority. It's literally your brain's cleanup crew. And you can actively work to reduce stress, to take that heavy load off your entire system.
When you put all of these pieces together, it becomes so clear. You are not just a passive victim of your DNA. You are an active participant, an active creator of your own health. And this is that profound shift that functional medicine offers. The conversation is no longer about just diagnosing what's wrong with you. It becomes a true partnership, a conversation about what matters to you, your goals, your life, and then building a path to health that actually gets you there. So I really want you to let this sink in. You are the co-author of your own health story. Sure, the first chapter, your genetics, that might have been written for you. But right now, you are holding the pen. The choices you make today and tomorrow and the day after that, you are actively writing the next most important chapter of your life. So, I'll just leave you with this. That genetic gun might be loaded, but you get to decide what it's aimed at. So, what's the first choice you're going to make to pull the trigger? Not on disease, but on a whole new future for your health.